What's up, everybody? Tommy here, Math Productions. Been a couple days, but we're back at it. We got a new outfit on. It's from a mod. We'll talk about it in a second. But to let you know what's going on, what you're going to see in this video here, we are back to the UC Vanguard faction questline, and we're taking the information that we gathered from Hadrian on Tau Ceti after our encounter with that Terrormorph, and we've made our way to the Sol system. We're at Cydonia on Mars, and we're looking for Dr. Percival. So the first place you stop at is the Trade Authority. They let you know that the doctor's MIA, they got a debt that they owe, and the Trade Authority's not really interested in if the doctor comes back or not. But they do give you that dude that you talk to, the Trade Authority, gives you a little bit of information, says to come down here and talk to these gentlemen, and maybe they can help us out. After giving us a hard time when we enter in the bar, they give us more information about the doctor, and if you talk to this dude posted up against the wall, he'll give you a opportunity to... I guess, so there's like multiple ways, right, that you can conclude this. Not really, because they all lead to the same path, but there's multiple roads in this quest that you can take to the same destination, right? So, like, you could just pay the balance that the doctor owes to the Trade Authority out of your own pocket with your credits and be done with it, right? You'll still have to come over here where we're going next, but you could pay off the debt that way. The other way is if you talk to that dude that was in the bar posted up against the wall, he'll let you know that there was some research going on at this facility before these spacers took over, and if we could get our hands on that research, that it could be lucrative, right? And we can end up, spoiler, that's the part of the way that we use to pay. That's the way that we use to pay off the debt. That's part of the route that we take to get through this part of the quest line. Once we clear through this, get that research in our possession again, you can use that as leverage with the dude at the Trade Authority and broker a deal trading that research and data for the doctor's debt being cleared off, right? But so you end up, either way, once you find out about the debt, you're told the doctor was last seen at this underground research facility type thing, but that the spacers have moved in, and it's not going to be easy to get to the doctor. Well, if you have a Grav 7-9, like you just saw on screen, or a Rev 8, or any of the other vehicles, right? They have weapons. As long as it has a weapon on it, the vehicles are incredibly useful, even at POIs against ground enemies. They are crazy useful. You saw, I didn't even have to get out of the Grav 7-9. I just eliminated all the enemies that were outside at this POI. Of course, I do have my trusted companions with me as well, and they're putting in work as well too. But once we clear out that outside, we finally make our way down into this mine, right? I said at the beginning that I'd talk about the outfit that you guys saw me wearing, so it's from a mod called Uniforms. And basically what it does is it gives you faction-specific outfits when you actually join those factions through those factions' quest lines. So like we'll get an extra ranger and deputy and stuff like that from the free star whenever we eventually do that. I believe there's extra outfits from Ryusian. There's other outfits within the Uniforms mod for sure, but the one again that we highlighted at the beginning of this episode, and while we're playing through this quest line, I'll keep that outfit on, but it's a UC Vanguard officer's outfit. I feel like since we introduce ourselves as captain, we're a captain in the Vanguard, that definitely is an officer, so I feel like it's fair, warranted, and valid that we already have us a UC officer's dress attire, right? But that's what we were wearing at the beginning of the game. Again, that mod is called Uniforms. Just to touch on a couple mods while we're going through this tunnel. If you haven't played through this quest, I highly encourage it. If you're like me and you've played this quest line more than most of the others, it's a fun POI. There's a ton of good loot that you can pick up all throughout this POI. But admittedly, it's not the most difficult. Obviously, I do believe the enemies scale with your level. We are not the highest level right now, and we do have some decent gear for our level for sure. But if you know where these enemies are at, and if you know the map, then it's not too difficult. To be fair though, I guess I should asterisk that. I always have to remind myself, like, it's the same reason that my dad never wanted to play GoldenEye with me back when we had the N64 back in the day, because I could memorize maps really, really quickly. And he always taught me to win, so like when I didn't tell him about the maps or how to play or anything like that, and I just kind of spawn camped and sniped at ease, he got super frustrated, right? So I'd always remember, memorizing maps is fairly easy to me, but if you're like me and you're pretty good at memorizing maps and where enemies are at, again, this POI, not the most difficult POI, but absolutely a fun POI. You're going to have to come back to this POI. Spoiler, that's kind of the reason that this episode is so long, is this part of this quest line is a lot of traveling and a really, really, really big back and forth. So without getting too far ahead of ourselves, when we go into this mine, we do not find the doctor the first time we come into this mine, but we do absolutely find that research, and we clear out all these spacers at this point, right? But once we get through with this, we have to go back to Cydonia. We have to actually broker that deal with the dude at the Trade Authority, so that way the doctor's debt will be cleared. And once that's cleared, we'll end up, and I'm going to show all this on screen as well, but once the debt's cleared, we can go down to that bar again, talk to the bartender Lou. Lou will give us a key, and then that's when we got to make our way all the way back to where we're at right now. So that way, so at the very end of the tunnel that we're facing, if we were to go all the way down that way now, then there's a door that's currently locked. Again, Lou gives you the key. Once you've got to this part here, they tell you about the research via the comm. That dude you were talking to from the bar posted up at the wall. Side note, there is some good loot in there, so go ahead and scavenge what you want. But you have to come back out here to the actual like hallway in the tunnel. You have to mine that mineral right there. Take it back to that machine that's in here. Let it process, do its thing. And dude's gonna talk to you while you're doing it. Then you grab that piece, you finish telling him that it worked, and that's when he says to come back, right? So you have to grab that key if you want to use this elevator. Again, that key, double back like 10 seconds. It's sitting on top of the machine we use to process that mineral, but you grab that key and you can exit out right here. You're like 200, 300, 400 distance from where you started or where you left your grab 7-9 if you're like us. If you're not over encumbered, you can just fast travel all the way back to where you need. Otherwise, a huge danger in this level that I haven't even touched on in almost 9 minutes now is because of the fact that I'm using the OG Tennessee's realistic O2 meter. I love that mod. I think it was my #1 top rated mod for my top 10 absolutely must have immersion and survival type mods. I think both those lists maybe. That realistic oxygen meter was #1 because of how much it impacts the game. Exploring, running missions, doing loot runs, whatever you're doing in an environment, in an atmosphere that is not breathable, you have to be prepared. You have to have backup oxygen tanks and emergency oxygen masks. If you don't, you will absolutely find yourself in a bad spot. You're probably going to end up dying from it, and you're going to continuously restart until you actually have enough oxygen to do what you're trying to do. If you use up more than half of your oxygen going to somewhere and you do not have a backup O2 tank in your inventory, you will not make it back. That's why I absolutely encourage anybody that wants something that's going to be subtle but profound and absolutely make the game more immersive, more survival in nature, absolutely you should grab the OG Tennessee's realistic O2 meter. It's incredible. But you saw just now on screen, we've doubled back to the mine thing with the key, and we made our way through. There's no enemies or obstacles or anything like that. I was kind of nervous, I forgot. I keep confusing this mine with one of the ones in the Freestar quest line when you're going to take on the 1st Cavalry or whatever. I get those two mines confused in my head all the time. But this is it for this part of this mission. We talked to the doctor, let him know everything about what we got with Hadrian. He tests the sample to verify that what we're talking about is valid, and he knows the severity of the situation right away. But for the most part, that's it for this part of the quest line. We end up having to go back to Cydonia with the doctor, because remember, Hadrian said that they would meet us at the bar. So we get those two together, we'll follow them inside, they'll tell us a little bit more about what we need to do next, and that's talk to the upper government officials, leadership, whatever of the UC. We gotta take it to the cabinet, let them know what's going on, so that we can try to access the archives to get some more information about the threat that we're dealing with. But that's the episode here. The next episode again is where we're gonna leave off here. We're gonna meet Hadrian back in New Atlantis, just outside of Mast, and that's where we're going to pick up the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, I hope that you press the like button. I hope you consider subscribing to the channel. There is a whole lot more content on the way. Immediately following or shortly after this video gets uploaded and is available and you're watching it, I'm going to post another video, and it's a mod review. While we're on Cydonia, we're going to check out Ramtech AI's The Prologue. It looks fantastic. It is fantastic. Check that video out next. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And as always, take care.